Jordan Maley and April Lamotte drive down a windy canyon road in the northern Oregon rangeland on the lookout for Mormon crickets, giant insects that can devastate crops. "There's one," says Lamotte. "They are not difficult to spot. The insects, which can grow larger than 5 centimeters, stain the asphalt." Mormon crickets are not new to Oregon. Their name comes from western North America and dates back to the 18th century when they were destroying the fields of the Mormon settlers in Utah. But amid drought and warming conditions favored by the insects, outbreaks have worsened in the West. The Oregon legislature allocated $5 million last year to assess the problem and establish a Mormon cricket and locust suppression program. An additional $1.2 million for the program was approved earlier this month. It is part of a larger effort by state and federal agencies in the western United States to deal with an explosion of locusts and Mormon crickets that has struck from Montana to Nevada. But some environmental groups oppose the programs, which rely on aerial spraying of pesticides over large swaths of land. Maley, an Oregon State University advisor, and Lamotte, a resident of the small town of Arlington on the Columbia River, are both involved in spreading and measuring Mormon cricket in the region. In 2017, Arlington experienced the largest outbreak of Mormon crickets since the 1940s. The roads were greasy from the crushed entrails of the giant insects that were damaging nearby wheat fields. Rancher Sky Krabs said the outbreaks were truly biblical. "On the highways, the others come as soon as they're killed," he explained. Mormon crickets are cannibals and will eat each other, dead or alive, unless saturated with protein. The insects, which are not true crickets but shield-backed katydids, are flightless. But according to Maley, they can cover at least a quarter mile in a day. Lamotte fought the outbreak in 2017 with what she had on hand. "I got out the lawnmower and started mowing and killing them," she said. "I took a straight pickaxe and stabbed her." Lamotte organized volunteers to help fight the infestation, earning the nickname the Cricket Queen. "Another infestation last year had local officials crawling," Maley said. "We had all these high-quality crops and irrigation circuits," he explained. "We just had to do what we could to stop them." In 2021 alone, Oregon agriculture officials estimated that 10 million acres of rangeland in 18 counties were damaged by locusts and Mormon crickets. Under the New Oregon Initiative, private landowners such as farmers and ranchers can request the Oregon Department of Agriculture to survey their land. If ODA finds more than 3 Mormon crickets or 8 locusts per square meter, it recommends chemical treatment. In some areas near Arlington surveyed in May shortly after hatching, there were 201 Mormon crickets per yard too. State officials recommend aerial use of diflubenzuron. The insecticide works by inhibiting development and preventing nymphs from growing into adults. Property owners can get up to 75% of the costs reimbursed. Diana Fillmore is a rancher and part of the new cost-sharing initiative. She says her property is crawling with locusts. ODA recommended her treating her 988-acre ranch in Erock, southeastern Oregon. Since the program's protocol is to only apply insecticides to half of the proposed area, alternately targeting swaths and then skipping the next, it means nearly 500 acres of their land are actually being sprayed. Fillmore decided to act, recalling last year's damage. "It was awful," Fillmore said. "Locusts just completely wiped out some of our fields." She was forced to spend $45,000 on hay she wouldn't normally have to buy. Todd Adams, an entomologist and coordinator for ODA's Eastern Oregon Field Office and Locust Program, said that in mid-June, ODA received 122 survey requests and sent out 31 treatment recommendations covering approximately 40,000 acres. Landowners must act quickly if they decide to spray diflubenzuron as it is only effective against nymphs. "Once they grow up, it's too late," Adams said. Oregon's new program is aimed at private landowners. But the federal government owns more than half of all of Oregon's land, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture has its own program for outbreaks on western public lands. The U.S. government's locust suppression program dates back to the 1930s, and the USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service has sprayed millions of acres with pesticides to control outbreaks since the 1980s.